Welcome to Fragmental.
An amusing take on random topics. So I'm watching TV the other day, I guess. Yeah, of course. And I see this name, and the woman's name is Kendra with an H.
Like Kendra?
Kendra.
Kendra.
To her.
Was there an emphasis on the H?
Yeah, like the
Cool
yeah,
whip.
Cool whip. So which got me thinking about tonight's podcast, about like just naming things or names in general. So kids' names are funny. I mean, we've seen like Dave. It's pretty straightforward. Mike.
Yeah.
Very
plain names,
very,
right?
I wouldn't say plain. I'd say classic. They're
Yeah, thank you.
classic.
That's a great way to look at it.
It's a classic
it
name.
is. Yeah.
David, very biblical. Michael, very
Yes.
biblical. So, but that's how everybody named themselves. John, Mary, Mike, David. What's some other biblical names?
Joseph,
Levi, Mordecai.
Jebediah, Mordecai. And now we're just getting Amish, I think.
One of the.
I mean,
things.
Mordecai sure does sound pretty biblical.
Mordecai is very biblical in the sense like
Says
Mordecai's
the
going to
Jewish
come
guy.
and fucking kill you if you don't do your homework or don't eat all your vegetables or something like that, right?
Is that what it is?
I have no idea, but
Jeez.
Mordecai just seems evil to me.
I was going to say Mordecai's a dick.
So it just obviously got me thinking about like names, right? Like naming things or naming whatever. So I mean, kids is like the biggest thing. I mean, you look at I think literally every podcast we have to shit on the Kardashians. So what did you call them earlier? The
Carnastians.
Carnastians. So like
Except for Courtney. I would nasty
yeah. Well,
that
after
ass.
you saw ass pics of her,
Yeah. She's now my favorite. For
What's
sure.
funny is you said that, and I literally, when we got done last week or last time, I went out. I'm like, let me check this out. And I'm like, damn. She's single now, right? She was.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think she's. Yeah, she's taking a pounding. I'm pretty sure, but it may not just be in a relationship. It may just be a nice, friendly pounding.
Exactly. Friends with benefits. As they say.
Yeah, that's right. That's all it is. She's single and loving it.
Exactly. Hey, I don't. You know what? Take all of the cardnastiousness aside. Everybody. I mean, hey, good for her.
Right. Single. Why not?
And rich.
Yeah, exactly. You should enjoy it.
Absolutely.
She's good. She is attractive. So,
I think she's probably the most attractive one out of all of them.
I think she is. But look, I'll give him credit. Not the mom. I'll give her no credit.
Yeah.
But the girls they're attractive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, Kim's a pretty girl. I mean, I think completely different than she used to be, but yeah, I mean, they're pretty.
And then what are the two
fucking
younger?
annoying.
What are the well, that too. What are the younger ones? Kylie and Kendall.
Kendall. Okay.
Yeah. They're Bruce's kids.
Yeah.
So he's actually modeling himself after them.
Sort of, I guess. I don't know because
Yeah, I don't know about that. Getting back on topic here about names. That's interesting though, because she named all of her kids with K's.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Kim, Courtney, Chloe with a K,
Oh yeah.
Kendall, and Kylie.
What was the son's name? Robert. That's where they went the other way.
Well, she's retarded.
Was it Robert or was that the dad? Or are they
No,
both
it's
named
Rob.
that?
He may
Okay.
be junior.
Oh, okay.
He
So
may
they
be a
did the
junior.
same.
So I get
okay.
that. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But
You
why
were-
would you name all the girls with K's
And then you'd think they'd be like, and Kevin
or Carl with a K?
Yeah.
If you're gonna go, I mean, you do Chloe with a K. Why the fuck wouldn't you do Carl with a K?
Right.
What's that? What other cud names are there? Carl, Charlie Charlie wouldn't work.
Was it Silent K?
KH.
So my kids are all, now that I think about this, it pisses me off, but all my kids have the same initials, KAF.
So that's okay though, because my mother wanted the same with so like all of the same initials for me and my sister, but before my aunt wanted the name my mother wanted to use for my sister, my aunt used for her daughter, so she had to kind of adjust to that. But we were technically going to have all the same initials. I'm okay with that because the names are different, right? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
It's not. You're not like.
I didn't name 12 sons George Foreman.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But no, that's right. It's KAF. So being the smartass I am, my wife and I like the name Sire. So I said, let's spell it KSIRE. And everybody was like, Sire? And I was like, do you say knife? It's a silent K, dick.
Well, that's what I don't get, though, is like, when do you determine the letter is silent?
I have no idea. I'll never forget. I was in first grade. The teacher wrote knife on the board, and she was like, yes, Miss Dispro was my first grade teacher's name. She said, do you guys know what this word is? And I was like, so fucking cocky Jew as I am. Knife? No. It was a hard concept for me to grab there for a moment.
I mean, when do you determine that fucking K is silent? Because it's like, you could literally say Nardashian or something like that.
I forget. That was in a movie. I forget. They were spelling some word, and it was like farce or something like that. And he was like,
PH?
is there a silent K? And they're like, yes. What? No. How would you
It gets back to our fucking Family Guy Cool Whip.
Cool Whip. My favorite was when Meg kidnapped Brian because she was in love with him.
Yeah, I remember
and
that
she
one.
said, Brian, now you're being weird. And he was like, wait, that doesn't even have an H in it.
That's great.
All right.
So
in
back to
weird
names.
way-
And let's hang on the Kardashians for a little bit, or the Karnastians. You got Blue Ivy, right? Kim's kids are named Blue Ivy.
No, that's Jay-Z and
Oh,
Beyonce.
Jay-Z.
We'll
Wow,
come back
I'm
to that.
really fucking off
but
tonight.
Northwest.
Northwest, right. Thanks for that.
Yeah, because why?
But didn't they have another kid now? Don't they have another kid now?
Isn't it Chicago or something like that?
I thought maybe they'd go with like Southwest or...
Right. Well, I think that's
Southeast or
copyrighted
something.
from the airlines. They're not allowed. But
No, wait, it's not because they were bought out. Northwest doesn't exist anymore.
well, you said Southwest. So.
Oh, Southwest, I did. Yeah, sorry.
But you're right. Northwest was.
I've had, just so everybody knows, I'm like 9 beers in already tonight. So this is going to be a fucking fantastic episode.
Enjoy.
Enjoy the ride, motherfuckers.
Sit back and enjoy the ride. Yeah, so Northwest. I mean, that's a stupid name. Like, I mean, luckily they're rich and you know what, they're famous whether I like it or not. So, I mean, I guess the kid's always going to have that going for them.
Yeah.
But if you just named a normal run-of-the-mill kid that kid's going to get their ass whipped every day from 3rd till 8th grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And you know what's great is you remember the Key and Peele skit where they were like, he's like, Ron. And, you know, I find that great because I literally think they were making fun of like normal names at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, it's Aaron. He's like, okay, Ron. You know, it's like, what? But my point of that whole thing is like, to your point about the Northwest thing, it's like, you're gonna, it doesn't, and I'm not saying you should name your kid Mike, Joseph. I mean,
oh, right.
Yeah,
There's lots of
there's
different
lots of
names out
different names out there, and you know, you can name your kid whatever you want, but I really think people should think about what they're going to name their kid.
Right, put a little bit. Blue Ivy? That's not even good Ivy. Like, that's, like, you know, you're naming...
Literally the name Ivy would be cool.
Yeah.
Just
right.
Ivy by itself.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean,
that's
I remember there was
interesting
a movie, I forget what it's called, Poison Ivy, and the babysitter's name was Ivy, and the babysitter was Alicia Silverstone. So she could be called whatever the fuck she wanted back in the day.
Let's back up on the Poison Ivy piece. The original Poison Ivy movie was with Alyssa Milano.
Was that the original, or was that part 2?
I think that was the original.
We need the general fact checker.
We need some general fact checking here, Don. No, because Alyssa Milano is older than Alicia Silverstone, so it had to be. You know what? You start talking. I'm going to start.
You're going to Google it?
I'm going to do the Googling.
All right.
As they say.
So back to Blue Ivy. So again, that's not even a good Ivy. So that I'm never going to name one of my kids I'm now going to name my kid substandard something or other. No, you want it to be like powerful and look, it's Jay-Z and Beyonce. Beyonce, you could argue, one of the most powerful, most loved women in the world right now.
Fantastic singer, talented,
Beautiful,
yeah, absolutely, all of that.
Right.
Jay-Z, super smart, very successful,
aged awfully, but he's still an extremely right. I mean, the guy. Look, you can't say he's not in the rap industry, he's easily right. He would be on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, yeah.
I've told the story how I met Jay-Z, right? I told you.
You
I met
did tell me that. But go ahead and tell our listeners.
I was at a wedding here in Columbus, and we were staying at we didn't live here at the time, and he was doing a show, I believe, down at what's the Ohio State? What's the arena at Ohio State?
Schottenstein.
Schottenstein Center. I think it was down at the Schottenstein, and Schottenstein. I don't know why I find that funny.
What the hell is that supposed to mean, Dave?
Hey, fuck you, dude. Hang on a second. I'm pulling up 1992. That doesn't seem right.
No, that is about right.
I thought, was it really?
Yeah, that's about right.
No, Poison Ivy originally was with Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore.
She was the original Poison Ivy.
She was the original. Look, man. Look right here. Poison Ivy, 1992. Son of a bitch. 1992. Andy Rubin. Oh, that's the actor. Hang on a second. Anyway, so I'm at the hotel. His tour bus is parked out front. I think he was waiting for people to go to bed or whatever. It's literally like fucking like 2 a.m. I mean, I'm not joking. 2 a.m. I'm pretty hammered, and
that's a shocker.
It's according to this podcast, it's not a shocker. And my key wouldn't work to the room. My wife is. We were married. I think we were married at the time. And she's just waiting by the door. We can't even get in her room. She's just like, I'm not going downstairs yet. So I'm going up and down going back to the thing. They give me a new key. Come back up. It doesn't work. Go back down. Back over. So one time I get on the elevator, and he's on the elevator with his two bodyguards. So he's at the back of the elevator. There's 2 bodyguards next to him. And I literally say to him, like, is it okay for me to get on? Because, he's probably like, fuck you guys. I wanted my own elevator.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Right. He's a very powerful man.
And he goes, nice guy. He's like, yeah, you're cool. Come on. Get on. And it's 2 a.m. So I pulled my tie down, right, from my suit. And I pulled it down. So it's unbuttoned at the top. My tie is
right.
There.
The typical
end
of the wedding.
End of the wedding.
Yeah, without a doubt.
At 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
On a Saturday. Sunday morning at this point. And super quiet in the elevator. And he just says to me, you need to work on your tie. And, Jay-Z, he's a fashion guy, you get it. And I just said, what? And he's like, you need to work on your tie. And you know how sarcastic of a douche I am. I am not, and I'm dead serious, 100%. This is 100% true. In my head, I went, well, Beyonce likes it that way.
And, you should have said that.
But this is, you got to understand, this is the point where that was the rumor that they were together. They weren't officially together. So everybody was rumored that it's Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're together. And that's the fucking first thing that popped in my head. And his bodyguards are massive. I'm sure they're like 2 and
yeah, right. Those are not.
And there's like 3 black guys and this fucking white guy from Chicago. I'm gonna get my ass pounded in this fucking elevator. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? He's like, you just need to work on your elevator, work on your tie. And I'm like, oh. And then my elevator. And then I got to my floor. And I turned around and I said, like, hey, it was really nice to meet you. And I took my hand. And he shook my hand and I was like, yeah, it's cool, man. And I just got off the elevator and so that's my only celebrity story, was getting on the elevator with Jay-Z.
Yeah, it's still kind of cool.
It is. It's kind of cool. And I'm not a huge rap fan either, so that was even. I mean, super nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He could have been.
Yeah.
But he's the one that he initiated the conversation. I mean, he's the one that said you need to work on your tie. But I'm the one that could have got fucking killed in the whole situation, or not killed, but at least.
So it wasn't even early enough for you to go like, well, you named your kid Blue Ivy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're worried about my fucking tie? You should have worried about your fucking name of your kid.
Remember that time you named your kid Blue Ivy?
Yeah. That's the name of my tie is Blue Ivy.
But no, I mean, so kids' names are something people put a lot of thought into, right? Every one of our kids was named with, there's some kind of significance to it. We didn't just do the like, hey, look, fucking running deer outside. I'm going to name my kid Running Deer.
Do you want to do your joke?
No, I mean, I could. Why do you ask? 2 fish a flapping. Or 2 dog fucking.
Yeah, 2 dog fucking. Why do you ask Brewdog Elvis Juice?
But,
that's a plug for Brewdog Elvis Juice, by the way.
It's a great beer.
It is. It's a good beer. This is brewed in it's brewed here, right?
Oh, it's brewed here. Yeah, they got a big brewery out Canal, Winchester, Ohio.
The first time I had this, I was in London.
Yeah, so they're actually based in Europe.
Okay, all right.
And
that
then
makes
they
sense.
opened here.
Yeah,
so
all right.
I learned because I thought the same. I thought it was originated from here,
Right.
And then looked into it. Yeah, they're actually from Europe. But
Okay.
it's a good beer.
So
It's a good
Brewdog,
craft
Elvis
beer.
Juice, if you're listening, and you need some sponsorship, we'd be more than happy to.
We're a fan of your craft beer. I'm also offering my velvety smooth voice if you were to
Yeah,
need it.
you know what? Don't take my voice. If you need commercial work, talk to Mike.
But, that's, again, so to get back to it, that's something people put a lot of thought into. Ours, like, for example, one of my daughter's middle name was Anne. So we spelled it A-N-N-E, and that's because of our grandparents, both of our grandmothers. We each had a grandmother that's name started with E. So, again, it was something small, but you know what I mean? Like, we still put thought into it. And then you hear the kid, they're like, we decided to name our daughter Apple or Blue Ivy. Or what are some of the other goofy ass kid names?
Well, we got to we'll go back to the Carnastians. Fuck, is it Kylie or Kendall? Kylie had the kid, right?
Yeah,
Stormy.
right.
She named her kid fucking Stormy. Like,
Just so happens, right around the same time, Stormy Daniels was probably at her peak in the news.
peak news wise.
That's
I don't
what
know
I
about
said.
her.
Peak in the news.
Oh, peak in the news. All right.
Certainly not
So,
peak physically because
We
she
know
was
her
taking to
aunt
pounding
was
for
a
years.
fucking porn star. Is that the path she wants her kid to go down? Is that where this is working?
She just to make sure it right, like
Yeah.
naming somebody Candy or something
Jasmine.
like
Well, Jasmine's actually not a bad.
that. I was gonna say most Jasmines I've known were actually beautiful.
This goes back to actually our last podcast about Asian fetishes, because that's usually an Asian name, right? Jasmine.
Jasmine. So actually, most of the Jasmines. Actually, I think all the Jasmines that I've ever met were not Asian. So
I think Jasmine
don't
and Asian go together. I don't know why.
I don't know. It's a pretty name.
Oh, Jasmine's a great name.
Yeah, yeah.
Jasmine's a pretty name.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're not here to talk about great names. We're here to talk about shit names.
Well,
No, I'm
I
kidding.
wouldn't say. Let's not talk about. I wouldn't say shit names.
I'm kidding.
Just like awkward names or odd names.
Well,
or
you
whatever.
gave
Like,
one named after the appliance.
Oh, Jenner.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the name.
That was the name. Right.
Yeah.
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 I mean, not to call people out here. My wife went to school with somebody named Shatade, and it was spelled S-H-I-T-H-E-A-D. And
Wait.
your name
Shit.
T-H-E-A-D, spelled shithead. Why would you do that to your child?
Exactly.
Like, that is so unfair to your daughter to grow up with that. Could you imagine being a substitute teacher like, really, fuck you guys, shithead? You couldn't have come up with huge a boner?
Here's the thing too: is we're not making fun of like the name. We're not joking about. It's like think about the name before. We're not saying you have to use Mike.
Right. I'm not making fun of the person named
No,
that,
no, absolutely.
But who does that?
That's exactly.
Yeah, that's my thing.
and
You're doing
it's not
this.
it's not the kid's fault at that point, right? You're like it's
exactly.
all on the parents. It's 100% of the parents.
Yeah.
The kid doesn't name themselves.
It's not fair to the kid, as a
right.
matter of fact.
Absolutely, I 100% agree.
And we thought about that. Look, I didn't name my son Cash because I didn't think it was fair for a Jewish man to have a son named Money. So, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the name Cash, but again, pretty stereotypical for a Jewish guy to name his son Money.
Yeah, 100%. But you're taking the time to go, hey, did you list out a bunch of names? I mean, did you guys go through?
Oh, we went through. We took
Yeah.
time. Absolutely. And that's my thing is most people put a lot of effort into that. And to come up with some of these pretty names again now, if you weren't famous, your kid is going to get made fun of.
Yeah.
And the perfect example, my name's Michael Jason. My dad, they talked about names, and my mom said, "What about Brandon Jason?" And my dad said, "Not a chance in hell my son's going to be named BJ." no one's calling my son Blowjob.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's taking the time. And again, we're not saying you don't have to have names that are like Mike, David,
Right.
Tim, Joe, John. I mean, the kind of the classic names, if you want to call it that. It's just think about what you're naming your kid at that point. I mean, Jasmine's a perfectly good name. It's very
beautiful
unique.
name.
Yeah, it's a beautiful name. So, but yeah, kids.
Yeah, a good friend of mine just named their daughter Aaliyah. I think that's a beautiful name. And
Aaliyah's
that's
a great name.
Yeah, and that's not just one of your run-of-the-mill Sarah, Jessica, Jane, Jennifer. It's it's a little bit different, but a beautiful name.
Yep, absolutely, and thought out. Thought it out. But the Blue Ivy's the word. I mean, I guess and it's the personalities too. You look at the Zappa kids, right? With Moon Unit and what was the one we heard the other day?
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee.
Like Sailor or something?
Sailor, yeah. Something.
I mean...
it just...
I mean, I get it. You know, Inspector or something. Right?
Yeah,
It was
something
Inspector.
Inspector something or
Yeah.
something Inspector or whatever it was. But yeah, it's like, come on. I mean...
Right. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you say when you're 6 years old. Like, if I have a son, I'm gonna name him
Inspector Gadget.
right, Dr. Strong Guy. You know, like you're gonna say something completely off the wall. Not, well, you know, I'm gonna name my kid Blue Ivy when I'm an adult. Guarantee that.
So did they go by Blue Ivy or do they go by Blue or?
How
would you do that?
I have no idea what they call
BI?
it.
BI? Hey, BI. Blue Ivy?
Maybe.
What's the last name?
Carter.
Blue Ivy Carter. Bic.
Big.
He's named after a lighter.
I was thinking the cheap razor, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, what? Same thing.
They're disposable.
You're
either way.
shaving. Yeah, they're both disposable either way.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into like just the general naming of things. So, I mean, you've seen the people naming their boats. Or,
that's a huge
or license
thing.
plates or something like that. Yeah.
Naming a boat, like that's a thing. Like, my brother named his boat. I forget what it was named, but like
Your brother's a boat?
Yeah. I don't know if he drives it with his thing or anything, but
Yeah. At least time that he can drive it with his fucking junk.
But yeah, so my brother got a boat, right? He had to name it. That was part of the thing. My wife, you know, kind of crafted the decal and everything. But like everybody on the water, it's got, you know, the sea monster, you know, I don't know. That's probably not a great name.
No, I can't think of it. But it's kind of funny because who's it? I heard that Wexner, that owns Victoria's Secret, the Limited. He owns the Limited.
Yeah, yeah.
His name of his yacht.
He owns Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, Well, that's part of the whole Limited
Yeah.
package. I had to go to the Limited because the point of the story is the name of his boat is No Limit.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's, you know what I mean. It's like that's kind of interesting. So, but people usually name their boats like after like the opposite of whatever they're doing to some degree. I think for those people that follow racing or whatever, I know a couple of racing guys that name their boats Sunday Money because most people race on Sundays. So
that's when they win their money.
That's when they win their money.
Yeah, right. One of the funniest I love are the horse racing names. So, like, one of the best names I've ever heard for a racehorse was Hoof Hearted. Say those two together, Dave.
Hoof Hearted.
Exactly. And the audio of the race is like, and they're coming down the stretch, and it's who farted on the outside, who farted pulling it out, and it's who farted by a nose.
That's great. Horse names are great though. The people naming horse names are great. I think Family Guy had a whole skit of really fucked up names that they did as the guy was like, to your point, was like reading through all of them.
Yeah.
They were all fucked up. I mean that's great. But, so you got boats. We were talking about storms, right? Or actually, let's stick with boats. Let's go with like license plates, right?
Yeah.
Like I hate fucking
like if you have a Corvette, does it absolutely have to be personalized and have something to do with fast? Does it have to?
Well, people put like fast on their fucking Fast and Furious little 4-cylinder rice banger too. So I don't get that either.
But
so.
I feel like that's like is that you have to do it? Like when you're signing for your Corvette, or they're like, no, you must name your license plate something really douchey that involves being fast.
I should have asked a buddy of mine who works in that whole like. He works in a high, like not Corvette, like above a Corvette, like in the high end Ferraris, Lambos, whatever, to get his take on what kind of license plates those motherfuckers have.
Was it like OVA Comp?
Yeah, exactly. Most of them are like compensating. I think on one of the first podcasts I talked about Peter driving his car. Was it driving his car into the tunnel?
And he kept going in and
out. He kept ramming in and out. That's I love that show. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of personalized license plates. It's just, I've seen like really high end cars with like just normal license plates, and you're like, all right, that guy gets it, right?
So
like
I'll
if you
say
can afford, I'm sorry, Mike.
No,
if you
go
can
ahead.
afford like a Lambo, right? You obviously have the fucking money for a Lamborghini. You obviously have the money for a Ferrari. Why do you need to point out how fucking sweet you are in your goddamn license plate?
right, and it says like rich RNU, richer than you. You know, like we get it. It's a goddamn Lambo.
Exactly.
Costs as much as my house. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Thanks. We know you spent $200,000 on the fucking thing. So either you have the money, or you're the stupidest motherfucker on the face of the planet.
Or it's a kit car and it's a Fiero motor.
We talked about this the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
About the Fieros, right?
But so I'll say like the plates I don't mind as much when it's just like, you know, Bob Smith and it's like BS 13 or something like that. It's like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, whatever. I don't think that's as bad as something like Sox fan faux life or you know, that's way too many characters. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
They've got, you know, or they come up with all these
That is way too many. The letters are like fucking like an inch tall. The cops can't read the fucking thing. Like, what is that? It's Sox fan faux life, motherfucker.
Can you please pull your ass over?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, that was a bad example. But you know what I'm saying.
I know
Like,
exactly what you're saying.
come up with all these creative little things. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had moments as a kid where I've thought like, would IB6 UB9 be funny?
I never ever thought about a person like this. But
Yeah.
my buddy, I have he's not here. He doesn't live here anymore. But he, because you can go online and like type it in to see if it's available. And he would go in and type these things in and then like send them to me like Dave is gay or you know what I mean, all these like all of this shit like just fag for life whatever it was. I mean I'm like, dude, you seriously don't have more to do?
Like, what are you, 8?
What are you, 8? He's like, hey, I found a license plate for you. I'm like, what is it? And he sends it to me. I'm like, God damn it.
So another one. So right, people name their cars. So what would you name your Nash Rambler, Dave?
Shit-o-matic.
Right, that's where we have the personalized license plate that's like PCO SHT.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit. It's funny. Do you do this too when you like run up on it? Like when they have to use certain letters like in numbers and whatever, and you spend like 20 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck they're trying to say. You're behind them at a light and you're like, I eat pussy? What does that work? How's that work?
Did they even let you get that? That's awesome.
How the fuck did you get that through? I ate like the letter 8 PS. What I'm like, did they get that? I mean, did somebody spell check that or some fucking thing?
Yeah.
I eat pussy. Well, I guess that's true. Who doesn't? I guess at the end of the
BG
day.
Wang.
BG Wang.
Big Wang.
BG Wang.
Well, you know, it's even
Big
funnier.
Big Ten Wang.
It's even funnier if it says BG Wang and you're driving a Lambo. They're gonna be like, really?
Or a Civic. A Civic, yeah.
Oh,
BG
friggin'
Wang Civic.
But, yeah.
That's fine. We've lulled here a little bit on that one. You and I were talking the other day, actually a couple weeks ago, about this because of the weather, like naming storms. Now I understand when like hurricanes are what, like they pick a season. It's like female names and then male names, or how's it? I mean,
So I don't know if it's every other is male or female because the season tends to be like, I think it's July through November, and then they plan out the names like 4 years in advance.
well, it's like HIJ. I mean, the names. The one storm is H, starts with an H. The next storm starts with an I, J. I mean, I think it runs through the alphabet that way.
It starts at A and goes
Yeah,
down.
and it goes down. But is it like every other one is male or female?
Maybe. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% sure either. But we have our general fact checker will look into that for us. Although we haven't heard back on some of our other general fact checks, so I assume we're right then.
Damn right we are.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that's so the storms bother me. You know, first of all, how do they determine what names to put in for the hurricanes? You know, are you putting in, you know, what a Hurricane Isidore? I mean, is that an ominous name? Like it can't be like a really nice like Hurricane Holly. Like anybody named Holly is usually pretty peppy and nice. Can they be named? You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't know. If you watch enough porn, Holly's a pretty good nasty name.
They're pretty aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. At least the Hollies I've seen, or from what from what people have told me.
Okay, what's another friendly name?
I don't think they're
Mercedes.
Adele. No, Mercedes is definitely a fucking porn / hooker / escort name.
I was serving you up. I'm sorry.
I know you. That fucking softball was just waiting up there.
I mean, I couldn't have made that one any easier.
No, exactly. Mercedes. Mercedes. Up on the main stage, Mercedes. Not that I've been to a strip club.
Right, from what you've heard from friends.
From friends and people I know and, the internet. I do a lot of research before these shows.
Yeah, absolutely, we prep.
Exactly. We totally prep for this.
But, I mean, I don't know how they come up with the names. Like I said, it can't be something really peppy and nice. It really should be something like Hurricane Damien. Or, like, it should be an ominous name.
It should be
absolutely. Hurricane.
It's a hurricane. Or... but then you get into like winter storms or rain. I mean, hurricanes absolutely like hurricanes or was it hurricanes are on the East Coast and then it's typhoons in the Pacific.
So it's in
right?
the Pacific. No, not. I don't even know if it's the Pacific. I think it's the Western Hemisphere. So
okay, all right, yeah. I knew there's
because like when it hits California, thankfully we haven't had a lot of direct hits in California, but like when it hits Mexico, it's a hurricane. But I think it's a typhoon when it's I don't know if it's in the Western Hemisphere. Or if it's, maybe if it's in the Indian Ocean, or I'm not 100% sure.
They're essentially the same. They're just named.
Right. They're called like when something hits Asia, right? When it's the Philippines or something like that, it's a typhoon. It seems like.
Back to our Asian fetish from our last episode.
Right. That's exactly what I came out of. It's subconscious.
Exactly. Hurricane Jasmine or Typhoon Jasmine.
But well, what if? Okay, so what's a traditional Asian name?
Oh God, that's a tough one. Asia's a big continent. Asia's a continent, right? Do I have that? Do I remember that right?
Yeah, it's a continent.
It's a continent, right? You want to check on that there, our general fact checker?
So, right, if it was a Hurricane Chan, are you guaranteed to be disappointed and it will be less powerful?
You wait. I was expecting more.
What
was it? What did we hear the other day? Did you want to disappoint me? Did you want it? Seriously, Hurricane would you say Chan?
Yeah.
Hurricane Chan. Did you want to disappoint me? Because it really is less than a tropical storm. Like Hurricane Tyrone. I mean, somebody's bringing some heat in that one, right?
Oh, people are not walking right for a while.
That is wiping some shit out completely.
But so you started to touch on it. The winter storm naming is what pisses me off so bad right now. They're like, well, winter storm Martha is upon us. And I'm like, Martha? Like, why are we naming? It's storm. Like, you can't just name a thunderstorm.
Right.
Like, winter storm Gert.
And it's funny because they name these storms and they turn out to be literally nothing. It's like,
right.
Okay, so we've got 7-mile-an-hour winds and 3 inches of snow. From Winter Storm Gert.
This just in. Joe Cantori's in the middle of Winter Storm Gert. Well, it's shockingly uneventful here, Bob.
I have shorts on.
By the way, have you ever seen the video of Jim Cantori with the thunder snow? Dude, it's one of the greatest things ever.
I've been where I grew up. We used to get. I mean, if it was bad enough, I've seen like lightning during a snowstorm.
So that's what it was. It was a thunderstorm, but it was snow. But it was so awesome. Like as it's happening, he's like, "Yes, woo!" He's fist pumping. He's going crazy in the snowstorm.
Meteorologists don't have a lot to fucking like get excited over.
Hey, right. Jim Cantori's cool as shit.
Oh, don't get me. Yeah, he is. And don't get me wrong, he definitely is. But
it's one. I'm telling you, it's one of the best 6 or 7 minutes you're going to get regarding weather in your life.
Weather's so exciting. I've seen like lightning during a snowstorm. It's fucking crazy because everything's white in general.
Yeah, that's pretty. I've never actually seen it.
I mean, I grew up like I said in upstate New York, or I told you I was upstate New York. And where we get a lot of lake effects, so the flakes are like 8 inches across. I mean, when it's I mean, they're like you get hit in the head with one.
Discs. Like, holy shit!
I get hit with 2 snowflakes. I can't fucking see. But I've gotten the lightning and it's crazy. Interesting fact for joking aside, interesting fact that I knew this, but I kind of got the science behind it. Like when it snows really heavy, it suppresses the sound because the snowflakes block the sound waves.
Yeah,
that's
that
why
makes sense.
when during a heavy snowstorm, it seems super quiet because the snowstorm is literally blocking the sound from everything else.
Yeah, I guess I've never thought of it that way, but you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah, at least it makes sense because I was very.
It does now.
It does now because I was very confident in what I was saying, Mike.
That's right. I bought it. All right.
Hopefully, 6 of our listeners buy it.
Speaking of confidence,
Yeah.
naming body parts. All right, this is the meat and potatoes of this episode, Dave.
Yeah. If you've hung on to the episode through the first 35 minutes, now we're good to the good stuff.
So, right, I mean, so where do we start here?
So it's 2 guys talking about random topics, as I think is the name. Amusing take on a random topics. So 2 guys. So if you're going to start with naming body parts, you got to start with a dick. I mean, you have to.
So where
Mr. So-and-so or whatever you want to call it.
Mr. Belvedere for those keeping score at home.
Mr. Belvedere.
But so let me take a step back even. Who coined the name Dick?
That's a great question. I don't know. Who coined the name Cock?
Right. Like, did it all come from Adam? Like, because before he gave his rib for Eve, he was alone, right? So is he like, hey, this is my new friend because I'm alone, so I'm going to name it Dick. Yeah, that's his name, Dick.
But Dick is back to naming your kids. It's a sub of Richard. Why? How did Richard get the Dick?
I have no idea.
And I know people named Richard, and they're like, no, it's Richard. You know what I mean? They're like, don't fucking call me.
So how you been, Dick?
You're like,
no, it's Richard.
Yeah, and you and I are no longer friends at this point. The medical term is penis. I mean, which is like,
that's not a cool name.
It's not a cool name. I mean, you could have named it like even breast is cool. Is better than the name penis.
Yeah, that's not an attractive name.
So I don't know where Dick came from. Cock's another one, which I don't get.
I'm telling you, I think it was from Adam, and then when Eve came, and he had a boner clearly because the first time he's seen a nude woman, he was like,
well, he did.
Look,
hey,
Dick is happy to see you as well. He's pointing at you.
FYI, he did lose a rib over that.
No, he did.
He did.
He did. So, I mean,
I don't know where I was going with that, but he did. I wanted to make a
how
point
does
that he
did not allow him to get a boner from seeing a naked
absolutely not.
chick?
I'm just making a fucking point that he lost a rib over it.
I mean, okay, he did that. You are correct.
Okay, fair enough. Back to the fucking point we were making.
So, yeah, I mean, those are right. Penis isn't a cool name. I think that's why we name our members, right? And it's got to be something cool. Right, it can't be something cute.
Yeah,
like it can't be.
Well, it's got to be like manly, right? Like Dick.
Like people like a good it's named Thor. You know, like that's a sweet name. Like people presume you have a big dick that pillages things, and
Thor doesn't pillage. Thor's the savior of the earth.
Was it? I'm thinking Thor. Isn't that on like the show Vikings? It's a huge guy named Thor.
Oh, well, Thor's a god, so Thor, he wields the fucking...
Right, it's big, it's
strong, and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
that's a good cock name.
You can't lift it up.
Right. It's named Thor because you can't even fucking move it.
Only, what's the thing behind Thor's hammer? Like, you have to be worthy of picking it up.
Is that the sword and the stone thing?
No. Like his Thor's hammer. You know,
okay.
Like you have to be. If the storyline is correct, or if I'm remembering correctly, is really what I'm saying. Again, I'm like 9 beers into this fucking thing. You have to be like worthy. That's like when it's sitting on the ground, nobody can pick it up. But if you're worthy of the hammer, then you're able to pick it up and wield the Thor hammer.
Oh, so okay, that's how you lay it out to a lady. My penis is named Thor.
Exactly. If you're
worthy, you worthy?
If you can pick it up, you're worthy. And most of the time, at that point, if she's in front of you and your Thor is out, it's probably up in front of her anyway. So
right. She knows if you were the name Thor. Plain and simple.
Exactly. You're worthy enough if it's up and ready to go.
So yeah, I mean, yeah. So another like a funny one to me was in Anchorman. So Brian Fantana, Paul Rudd's it says, if you're wondering if I named my penis, the answer is yes, and it's named the Octagon. My balls are also named Dr. Kenneth Noisewater. Like, first of all, I have never named my balls, but if I were, like Dr. Kenneth Noisewater,
I want to know why his dick is named the Octagon. Like doesn't make any fucking sense. The Octagon?
maybe he's saying it's 8-sided or 8 inches. I don't know.
That you know what? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the 8 inches thing.
Yeah.
But the Octagon is a circle. Maybe it's 8 inches
no,
around.
It's a stop sign is what it is.
Exactly. It's as big as a stop sign. It's 1 inch long, 8 inches around.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a stump, Dave.
Exactly. Is it in yet? Yes.
No, they usually would know. They know.
Yeah,
because the girth, I mean, you got to stretch it. It just doesn't go.
Exactly.
It just doesn't hit certain
very
buttons.
Edge.
It doesn't hit certain buttons.
Or any of them. But so guys name their junk, and we were talking about this naming thing, I think in the last week or two, and somebody brought up about actually a friend of ours brought up about women don't name themselves. I mean, like women don't name their boobs, or their, like, guys call them tits, or the girls, or
Knockers
or
milk bladders.
Yeah,
fun bags.
I don't see milk bladders. If somebody said to me, "Hey, check out those milk bladders," I'd be like, "I'm less turned on now." I'm literally less turned on.
It's
now.
funny.
You really?
I do. I think it's funny.
Well, I'm sure there's a reason milk bladders make sense to you because of kids and kind of all of that fun stuff.
No, we didn't breastfeed.
You didn't breastfeed at all?
No. I mean, clearly I didn't, but no, my wife did not either.
Okay. So now I'm really confused. But like tits and boobs and the girls, and I use the girls a lot. Like the girls are out, and my wife's like, yeah,
Sun's
they are.
out, girls out.
Yeah, sun's out, girls out. But I use the girls out like on everything. I'm like, hey, honey, check out the girls are out over there, and she's like, oh yeah, they are. I'm like, why aren't your girls out? She's like, because I'm respectable. Well, yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, okay.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Fist pump. But then you've got girls that name. Well, you know what? Somebody said something like women don't name their own parts. Didn't Oprah name vajayjay? Wasn't that her term?
Yeah, now that you say it, I think she did. But I don't even think women like that term.
I don't even. Yeah, it's like men.
I don't. I'm like,
yeah. But it's Oprah, so everything is super fucking cool.
I guess. But I would think if a woman were to name her part, it would be something beauty, like Petunia or Jennifer Aniston.
What are you doing tonight? I'm gonna go hit Jennifer Aniston. I'm gonna pound the shit out of Jennifer Aniston. What did Nikki Glaser say about hers on Conan? She was. It's like hers is like a fucking train wreck or something. Her vagina.
I forget what it is, but oh man,
you sent me that clip, right?
Yeah,
I think you sent me that clip. It was like, what the fuck did she call it? Something like it was like this. We have to go look it up now. But by the way, Nikki Glaser, I think, is one of the funniest fucking female comics going.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, and she's smoking
Glaser.
hot on top of it too, which helps.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. What the fuck did she say about her vagina? It was great. Like Conan was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh, he was even like,
"Oh God." Actually, speaking of getting a sidetrack here, but this is the name of the show, Fragmental. I really like what he did was how he changed his show up. He cut it to 30 minutes. He cut out all the extra shit, and it's just him talking to to his guest, right? I mean, it's just that's good. But yeah, I don't think women name their body parts at all.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could tell women didn't by the name of things. Like, why was a vagina referred to as a beaver? That's a hilarious name.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even pussy. Like, where did that even come from?
Well, because if you stroke it the right way, it purrs.
Look, if I'm down there and I'm stroking it and it purrs, I'm gonna be like, there's something wrong with it. You need to go see a
You've
gyno.
got a motor in here. Did you leave your vibrator in? Oh, my bad.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Hey, wait, did you, as you reach in and kind of pull it out, hey, you forgot this.
I was going to leave it in there while you go in the back door.
Oh,
That might be all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with this conversation.
Yep, I'm dirty.
We both are. You express it better than I do. Are you looking up the Nikki Glaser thing right now?
I couldn't find it on the text stream, but it's on the Google or the YouTube.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. It's definitely on the YouTube.
So I did read. I actually looked it up and said, why would somebody refer to it as a beaver? Mm-hmm. So back in somebody said they were taught this on a tour in Philadelphia, that back in the early days, that it was believed women were passing venereal diseases through their pubic hair. So they began to shave them, and back in those days, the men did not like the appearance of said beef cleave. And
they didn't like the shaved or the...
Yeah, they did not like the hardwood floors.
I'm a fan.
Beef cleave's another name, right?
Yeah. I'm a fan of the hardwood.
Right, I am as well. Hardwood floors, I'm not a fan of the wood unless it's my wood. But
exactly.
I hear you, Dave.
Yeah.
So I guess
the hardwood floors with that little like highlight above, like the little arrow pointing,
or karaoke.
We covered this already, didn't we? Didn't we go through this already?
But yeah. So I guess after they shaved it, they gave them something to cover it back up called a merkin. And
well, that's what they use in movies. They have to literally call it a merkin in the movies.
Really?
Like when women have to like show
boosh when they're like unveiling the bush. In a movie?
they because most women, I don't know if most women do this, but in the movies, if the actress is shaved or waxed or whatever you want to call it, they give them what they call they literally call it a merkin.
So there it is. So maybe there's some truth to this.
Okay.
They wore a merkin, which did have the appearance of a beaver pelt. So they began referring to it as a beaver. Whether that's true or not, I bought the story. Just saying. But again, I think women would give it a much better name. Like, right? They wouldn't. So an example. So somebody who told me that said, Sorry. Nikki, I'm sorry. As Mike was talking, I was looking up. Nikki Glaser compares her vagina to a hastily packed suitcase.
So
right. So
this is on YouTube, so I think it's free, right? We're not going to get penalized for it. Yeah.
She was referring to.
I don't have it now.
You can't play the whole bit.
Listen, girls,
what's
get
that?
it done. It doesn't make you look younger, but if you get
an 8-minute bit.
Oh.
But what she was
4
getting
minutes.
at was that, like, porn stars' vaginas look perfect, and she's like, nobody's vagina looks like that.
Hers didn't apparently. Hers
looks like
a hastily packed suitcase. Thanks for stopping me on. It was actually only 4 minutes, but
I know, but that's
we don't have time for that.
We don't have time for that. But I mean, so anyway, where somebody was going with that was if a man named women's body parts, like we call their breasts headlights. Like, no woman's naming her boobs headlights.
Right.
Or knockers or flotation devices.
Milk bladders, as you say. No, milk bladders.
Milk bladders. Head pillows.
Head pillow. What's another one?
Radio dials.
Yeah, that doesn't go over well. I don't think that does not go over well. It's kind of like they're not radio dials. I'm like, I'm not twisting them. I mean, I'm not turning. I don't get like they're not radio dials. Yeah, I know. I'm rubbing them. I'm not turning them. I mean,
now hold on while I lick my fingers.
Yeah, hang on a second. What's another great name for boobs? The girls are those one, the classic one. Tits, obviously, tits are there.
Tig old bitties.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, guys kind of merge like 4 or 5 words together.
I mean, ladies, we have a shitload of names for all your parts.
Yeah, exactly. You know what would be interesting is if we need to get a female in here if girls name the guys' parts. We only have really 1, maybe 2.
Balls, maybe. I mean
3. I was thinking dick, balls, and ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right. I guess what would they name your ass, Dave? Shithole, cornhole.
Yeah, if they saw my ass, they'd be like, "That is a shit." Actually, they call it a shit show.
Home of the plug.
Home of the plug. I don't even have to respond to that.
But I guess I would be curious if women would name our parts, right? Like, what would it be? Because, again, so I heard a comedy skit about this, and and the guy, it was Dave Attell, and he said, you want to hear a different language. You want to hear Santa Maria, or let me out, guard, let me out. You don't want to hear, oh,
It's so pretty.
It's cute,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what? Everybody knows dicks don't look good.
Dicks aren't very attractive at all.
No, that's why. So that's the funny thing about dick pics. Like, we all think, like, oh, everybody wants. No, they don't want to see it.
They don't. No, they literally do not want to see it. It's like, I've seen one dick. I've seen almost all of them, and of varying sizes. I mean, they're all essentially.
Oh, right.
Unless
you're
you're uncircumcised, and you're like, I didn't know it was hooded. I didn't know it. Like, it's just peeking through, saying hello.
I mean, that could leave Little Red Riding Hood. I mean, again, back to you don't want little.
Exactly. Oh, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey, fuck you and Little
Look,
Red
it's
Riding
the big bad wolf, okay?
in grandma's clothes.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Exactly. If you just peel it back, you'll see.
Peel it back. Well, being Jewish, I don't understand that joke.
I'm Catholic and I don't understand that joke either. But, we've moved off of naming things to just general circumcision.
But I mean, what are some other funny names that we name stuff?
Oh God! I mean, we're talking body parts or just in general?
Body parts.
Body parts. I mean, if we go back to you got beeve, you got pussy, you've got what was the one we heard her? Little turtle in the Google patch, which is it's about the clit, but essentially
it's like the man in the canoe kind of thing.
Yeah, man in canoe, turtle in the Google patch. I really like turtle in the Google patch because usually if you can find it, they're not giggling at that point. You know what I mean? If you can,
yeah.
So I mean that's a whole other podcast about finding the turtle in the Google patch or the. See, I think I like turtle in the Google patch because of the whole line about like guys don't know where the woman's clit is, but man in the boat is kind of like, man, you can see a man in a boat. You can't see a turtle in a Google patch. I mean, you got to work for that motherfucker in the Google patch.
Some of us don't have to work as hard to find it, but
oh wow, listen to you.
I wasn't referring to myself; I was referring to my brother.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Your brother.
And
Your
his
brother.
rolled-
I gotta meet your brother because he sounds like the most amazing person on the fucking on the planet.
Well, compared to me, he probably is.
Wow. Well, not amazing. He's probably got the best stories of anybody on the planet, or one of the best.
Yeah, he's
stories.
got pretty good
He's
stories.
got some pretty good stories.
Yeah. He'd be fun to have on here.
And the question is, would he do it?
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay.
Good
to know.
but yeah, I mean that's but I mean naming your own member, like that's, I mean, is it a rite of passage or is that like a point of pride?
I don't know. I don't think I've never named my dick. I don't know why. It's not. It sounds like pretentious and arrogant to me, like to name your shit. It's like,
I mean, if you're like, yeah, my penis is named African long snake.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you've got to be like 12 inches to be like, this is Mr. Johnson, and he would like to meet your turtle in the Google patch.
The turtle won't even be in the fucking Google patch after Mr. Johnson's delivered.
When Mr. Turtle sees Mr. Johnson, he's getting the fuck out of the Google patch because it's gonna get.
It's getting dirty.
It's getting dirty.
for sure.
Yeah,
But,
I went a little brain dead there.
But no, I mean, I guess we did in high school. It was almost like you had to try to one up each other, and I landed on Mr. Belvedere. So
I like Mr. I not that I've seen your junk, but I mean I like that. Like it's very. It's
please
like,
don't finish the sentence, Dave.
It's very profound. Like Mr. Belvedere would like to meet with you today.
Right. That's right.
It's
right.
very.
I mean, it
very-
jizzes in British.
Suck on my dick.
It gives a well done. Right after.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, I do think it's
Does it go, my lady?
ladies first. I think it's kind of a point of passage. I mean, again, that was maybe we were just young and really immature, and it's locker room talk or whatever. But I think we all had some kind of name for it, and you had the guys who I think you clearly were trying to overcompensate, like, oh, it's the Thunderdome. We're like, dude, you're 5'4".
You're 5'4". and we've seen you in the shower. It's no Thunderdome.
The only sound of thunder is if you fart.
Exactly. Unless you're farting while you're fucking, there's no Thunderdome in that.
So, when you say that, so Adam Sandler had a bit talking about, what a dick fart would sound like, right? Because you got queefs,
Yeah.
and then, then he said, would it almost sound like a dying tea, tea kettle? Wee 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 wee. I have no idea how I landed there, but I did.
You know what's funny though is if you think about it, it's kind of like because like I kind of get it. I mean, I gotta get where he's going with that.
There's not right. I mean, our pee holes aren't.
It kind of like it's like all of nothing, and then it just kind of slowly dies out. So it doesn't ramp up; it kind of ramps down after that point. So
for sure,
exactly.
Dr. Kenneth Noisewater.
What was his name again in the movie?
Brian Fantana.
Brian Fantana. What a fucking great name.
If you're wondering if I'd name my penis, the answer is yes, and it's named the Octagon.
And my balls are
I don't even remember. It's Dr. Kenneth Noisewater, and I forget the other one. But it doesn't matter because Dr. Kenneth Noisewater is so fucking funny.
Oh, it's just one of them was Dr. Kenneth, not both of them?
Right. It was this and Dr. Kenneth Noisewater.
One ball is named Dr. I'm sorry. Let's back up. Make it more medical. One testicle is named Dr. Kenneth Noisewater.
I mean, I went through a period in high school where I named my loads. Like, oh, you going to clean Jefferson up over there? I didn't name my loads.
Thank God. Because
there were way too many of them to name back in the day, Dave.
I'm a little uncomfortable. I just numbered them, so I was like...
Numbered. Like, I just... Did you write that in your diary? Just release
I had,
load.
like in my room, I had
VII.
I had like the prison one with like 4 marks with a line through it. As I looked at myself in the mirror.
This is so much better when we're drunk.
It's way much better when we're drunk. Luckily, I'm probably more drunk than you are, so because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Jesus Christ, what a great show. This is what are we on 9, episode 9, right?
Yeah.
This is what did we say by like 10 we should have. Well, we've got plans for like, as these things kind of come out. So as we had a guest on, so I think the plan is to have more. We've got what did we say when we got to like 10 or 12 we're gonna do those episodes?
We joked 12 was gonna be finance.
12 was gonna be finance. So for those of you looking how to do your taxes, just wait a couple more episodes, and we'll get there. Was it 12? 12 was finance, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, we talked about, so for those of you that do listen, doing an episode where you guys just kind of email us or text us or whatever, some topics. And we'll, we can do like last week and do kind of a rapid fire. We'll do 4 or 5 topics. And,
although we did get some feedback but some people didn't like that.
True. So, I mean, that's just it, though. Keep giving us the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what we need to continue to evolve. I mean, there's 9 episodes. It's been a blast doing it, so we definitely appreciate you all listening.
All 4 or 6 or 12 or 10 of you. It varies from month to month. But
right. It varies. But
yeah, so anyway. All right, well, we're coming to a close here. We got almost coming up on an hour, which is actually literally about 10 or 15 minutes more longer than we thought we were going to be. So, again, we're out on iTunes. We're out on Spotify. We're out on Google Play.
WordPress. Fragmental.co. Please check us out. Like I said, send us a note. Give us some feedback. Always looking to improve and looking for new things.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.